guys, my name is Lindsay Lawson. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it seemed like it could be fun, and I'm alone. My roommate's out of town, and so there's no one to mock me, so we're gonna do it. Now's as good a time as ever. I love watching YouTube videos on here. It's kind of what I do before I go to bed sometimes. That sounded really millennial when it came out of my mouth. A lot of times it's makeup videos. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily like good enough at makeup to do makeup videos. I might could do like reviews for like the common girl, possibly. Maybe I will someday. But I'm not a makeup artist. I'm nowhere close to a makeup artist, so I'm not gonna do a makeup video. But I did kind of just want to jump in and introduce myself a little bit and then kind of talk about, I think, some life hacks is probably what most people would call them. I'm going to call it self-care and knowing thyself. And go from there. So introduction of myself. Lindsay Lawson. I am 27. I live in Denton, Texas. I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. And I love the DFW area, except for that Texas is really hot, and I am hot-natured, so I gotta take off a couple of points for that. You can see that I am in my closet. My vanity is in my closet. To my right is a bunch of products and makeup down below. You are currently propped up on like 3 things stacked on each other. Yay. I did not clean my closet for you. Probably won't clean my closet for you. This is not because I don't care how things look. It's just because this is not my day job. This is not a job at all. I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm not going to put necessarily a lot of time and effort into that probably. That's just not something that is probably going to happen. Just being real, honest about that. If that's going to bug you, I am not judging you that bugs you. That would bug a lot of people. Press pause, stop, back away slowly. Don't let me in my jackety closet be a stress in your life. Just don't. If that stresses you, no judgment, back out slow. I'll even pause and give you a moment to back out slowly. Because I'm just warning you, it's going to stress you out every time. And as much as I might think that some of the things that I'm going to say may be worth you staying and just bearing through, truth is, it's probably things you, on some level, have heard or know or just need a reminder of, or maybe have just never been phrased this way. If I'm lucky, it's one of those things. So, back all slow. I am a full-time nanny to 4 littles. I won't talk a whole lot about them on here, at least not on purpose. I do have like a non-disclosure clause with the family, so I'm not gonna be showing pictures or any of that kind of stuff on that. I don't do that on any of my social media with them, per their parents' request. And I'm also not super active on social media, so there's that. I am a part-time grad student studying counseling. I am almost done. Oh, I have like practicum and internship left basically, and then do my licensure exam and all that kind of great humbug. I'm studying for a certification exam at the moment. Yes, I understand that's 2 different exams. I'm not gonna explain that mess in this video. So yeah, I am an extrovert. I would fall into ambivert territory. I'm a verbal processor, so there will be ramblings of all kinds. If you like that, great. You just stick around. And if you don't, and that drives you crazy, again, don't let me be a stress in your life. No one has time for that. I'm a stranger. You don't have to love me. You don't even have to like me. So there's that. If you know about Enneagram, I'm a 2. I'm a 2 with a very strong wing of a 1 Enneagram-wise. So there's that as well. Yay! If you don't, I love Enneagram. Look up Enneagram. It's great. Do it. There are podcasts. There is a book called The Road Back to You, I believe, by Suzanne Stabile. I'm probably saying this so right. Ian. I can't remember his last name at the moment. And it's yellow. It's on Amazon. It's great. Prime it. It's amazing. Also, for Myers-Briggs people, if you're one of those people, I'm an ENFJ. High on the F, about 75% on the J, just because you asked, right? Can go back and forth on the S and N, and what would be considered an ambivert, so I'm like 60-40 extrovert, introvert. So there's that. So that's kind of an introduction. Oh, I have a mom and a sister. Obviously, I have a mom. Everyone has a mom. But I have a sister, and she's younger by 3 years. I live with my best friend. She's my roommate. I actually rent a room in her house. It is awesome. Whoever says you can't live with your best friend is lying to you, because isn't that what marriage is supposed to be? I'm single, so I'm saying this from a single perspective of, people told me, don't move in with your best friend, it's terrible, but if we can't live with our best friend, like, what real hope is there of being able to live with your best friend when you get married? Like, that is not logical to me. I think that there's a certain level of conflict that we expect out of romantic relationships that we don't do in our friendships a lot of times. But I think that it makes for really kind of shallow, at times, friendships. That's my soapbox for that. That conflict is not always bad. It can be good, and it makes our relationships deeper a lot of the time. So work through it. Have communication. Sometimes have conflict. Figure out what works for you. And I think that those are just good life skills that we should just all acquire at some point. Unless you don't want to. If you don't want to, I can't force you. I'm not gonna spend my life trying to force you into that. So that's the introduction to me. I have rambled for 7 minutes at this point. Hence proving to you that I am not a liar, because I am a verbal processor. Editing will be great. / a nightmare, I'm sure. Trying to cut out some of the rambling and deciding what's rambling and what's important. So to what I'm actually going to be talking about. I kind of just want to do I don't know exactly what all this is going to be, honestly. I don't know if it's the only video I'll ever post, or if I will post more videos to come. That's kind of the hope, but I don't know exactly what they're going to be about. I'm thinking one will be on Enneagram, and maybe one on Myers-Briggs. That's kind of my forte. That's kind of where I live. Being a grad student in counseling, that kind of stuff is important to me. It's not important to all people. Some people think that it is just like ridiculous mess. And that's fine. You do you, boo. You do you. But it has worked in my life, specifically Enneagram, in really great ways. Given words to communication issues that I've had in different relationships for years, conflicts that continue to come up, and realizing that it's not necessarily either person's fault. It's that we're different Enneagram types, and we are addressing each other based on our Enneagram type, when the other person may need to be addressed in a different way. So it's been really, really growing. It's been great. It's been amazing. So I would love to talk about that some. My hair is doing a real flippy thing. Yes, squirrel for that. It's just gonna keep doing it. I also am really passionate about EMDR. Love EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. So hopefully some videos to come on some of that maybe. Oh, I'm not certified in it yet. But it is something that I want to become certified in when I become a counselor. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So that kind of stuff for sure. But today, I would love to just talk about some self-care life hacks. That's what I want to talk about. Because I feel like, especially as millennials, we get caught in a weird spot. I am not as millennial as some. Not that I'm ditching the name. I am not dogging on the name. I am not ditching the name. We have enough haters. We should not hate on one another. And so I'm not doing that at all. But I know that sometimes our parents didn't teach us things that maybe they just didn't know. Or maybe they were trying to protect us. Or they didn't think, they thought it was common sense. Because sometimes millennials don't have a whole lot of common sense. I love us. I do. We want meaning. We want purpose. Common sense is not always common. And some of this is not common sense. Some of this is trial and error, which I feel like is the phase in my life that I'm at. It's trial and error and a little bit of practicing to figure out and make things habits. I've also just kind of seen how this plays out in a lot of people's lives. And I think for me, once I learn something, I'm never like, hey, I know all these things. I have it all together. All of my mess is not messy anymore. You should listen to me. I'm never going to be that. I don't believe we're ever finished products till we die. And even then, not so much. And so that is not it. That is not it at all. It is not because I need someone to stroke my ego. It is mainly because I wish someone had told me some of these things sooner. So nothing that I think is super life-altering on its own, but I think combined, the word balance comes to mind. Balance is something I've really, really been working on finding as much as humanly possible in the last year or so. And it's again one of my words for this next year. So here we go. 11 minutes in, here we go. Find what is important to you. Find what you value. And put more of that on your life. And I know that sounds really pie in the sky, like how does that actually work? Let me explain how that works for me. I am an nanny to 4 children. I am an extrovert, Enneagram 2. So what this means is I have very, very, very minimal face-to-face verbal time with adults. That's where I'm at. There will come a day where I have an abundance as a counselor. However, that's still mainly like me sitting there and listening while someone is sitting in front of me, because contrary to popular belief, most good counselors do more listening than anything else. Advice is not necessarily free-flowing. Sorry. That's just not what science has proven people really necessarily need the most of. So, for me, when I get home, I am focused on packing as much face-to-face human interaction into life as possible, because one of my biggest values is deep relationships. As an Enneagram 2, I'm telling you, it's going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming up. I'm called the helper, and our greatest desire, one of our greatest desires, is to have the most deep, intimate relationships as humanly possible. And we kind of desire this with everyone, and I feel like mature twos learn to dial it back and figure out who our people are and do it with them, but we still want to help everyone. We still want to be all up in everyone's jam all the time. We struggle with alone time, which I'll get to in a minute unless I forget. And so for me, I very, very highly value human time spent with humans, my people specifically. So like my roommate, my mom, my sister. So if I want to fit in as much human time as I possibly can and still have time to decompress, alone time, which I need as a human, even though I'm a 2 extrovert, you still need that. It's still healthy to have that. If you can't sit alone in a room with yourself for very long, that's something that I've always struggled with. So I'm not judging. That is something I still struggle with. But I'm having to learn that that's not good. That's not good. I need to be able to sit in a room alone with myself and love me and like me. And so I try to build in as much human time as humanly possible, which means that a lot of other things fall to the wayside. Laundry falls to the wayside a lot of the time. It is a good thing I have a good amount of clothing and a good amount of underwear. We're just going to say that about laundry. I do laundry all day long at work half the time because there are 4 children. It's a lot of laundry. And so when I come home, I don't want to touch laundry. I want to be with people, and I don't want to touch laundry. I haven't figured that one out quite yet. I'm still working on that one. I'll let you know if I figure out that. But I have figured out some things, such as I'm not going to iron. I am not going to iron like ever. And so my option for a long time was to either be wrinkly and disheveled looking, or to buy clothes that did not need to be ironed, or figure out how to hang it just right when it comes out of the wash and pull it out immediately to prevent wrinkling. And I don't know what you do on trips at that point. You only take the things that don't need to be ironed on trips, which is not always realistic. So for me, I don't iron. I have wrinkle release spray, which I will show you. It is right here. This is amazing. This video is really not a, like, let me show you the wrinkle release type of video. It's more, find what this is for you. For me, if you're like me, you will love this Downy wrinkle release spray. It is amazing. It's my first video. I'm not sponsored by Downy. Downy wrinkle release spray. You spray it on the clothes. You shake them out real good. I have not sprayed it on that. Don't touch that. And the wrinkles are gone. I say gone because they're not always completely gone. Sometimes they're really bad wrinkles that are never going to be completely gone. Sometimes ironing doesn't make some wrinkles completely gone. Let's be honest. It will make them better always. It does not always make them gone. So that's not an expectation of mine. If that is your expectation going into wrinkle release spray, prepare to be disappointed. It does make them always look better. It is great for traveling, whether or not you like to iron, but when you travel, you don't have an iron and you travel a lot. Wrinkle release spray, buddy. They have travel sizes. They have big sizes. That is what I'm talking about, though, in this video, is finding the things that save you time, that you can do more of the things that you love. Because that is what's going to bring joy into your life. And I'm about packing as much of that into my life as possible, which is a very Seven thing to say, I think. But trying to find what it is that you value, what it is that you want to put into your life, and figuring out things that don't bring you joy and things that you don't love, and how do we outsource a little bit, right? I outsource ironing to the wrinkle release spray, and it is amazing. Thing number 2, I like to look cute. I like to look cute. I like to wear cute clothes. I like to do my makeup in a way that I find attractive. This is something that I value. But I also value sleep. And I am not a morning person. And so I lay out clothes the night before. I know that it's not life-changing, life-altering information. You're like, okay, great. That's nice for you. But I do that because I value those things, and I have figured out a way to just think ahead and be able to do that. I value health, and so I have been on a journey of weight loss. I am at 43 pounds lost. No, I am not. I don't have a certain number in mind. I have a certain size in mind. I have an idea from like when I started college of what probably healthy looks like on me. At 27, that may be different, and it is what it is. I value health, and so but as I've been working on my physical health, I've also been working on my mental health. So I'm in counseling. I'm in EMDR currently for some trauma that happened growing up and when I was a child, and needs to be worked through. And honestly, that has gone hand in hand with my weight loss. And so because I value health, I meal plan. It's also a budget thing, but I meal plan at the beginning of the week, and I find when I have a plan, It helps me to stick to the plan, and that's not going to work for all the people. I get that. But if I don't have a plan going into the week, it is real easy to eat fast food every single meal. Which on the I'm on Weight Watchers. And so on Weight Watchers, like, that's not feasible with the amount of points that they think I should eat on. And they also are encouraging me to eat more fruits and veggies and that kind of stuff now even more by making those 0 points and taking away more points. Thanks, Weight Watchers. I was not happy when that happened, but I've adjusted. It's great. Don't worry. And so for me, meal planning at the beginning of the week, and my roommates and I sometimes do meals together, and so we'll do it together, like Super Bowl is tomorrow, and she's making burgers, and they are some of my favorite burgers. She's gonna make them with, sorry, I have a bit of cough, with turkey instead of beef to make the turkey 0 points, which is great. And I love these burgers, guys. I love these burgers. If you want to know the recipe, I can ask her for you. Just leave a comment down below, and I'll ask her the recipe for you, because let me tell you, the words onion, bacon, jam are involved. Oh, so good. It's so good. It has work involved. It is work intensive. Ish. She would probably say not. For me, it would be. If I was doing this on my own, I'd be like, I don't know about this. But you can make a lot at one time and then eat on it for the week, which is a lot of what I do. So I figure out, okay, am I willing to have one thing for dinners this week and just eat on it all week? If it's something I love, I typically can do that. I have pretty high stamina for repetition. Or do I want more than one thing? And so how do I half those? How do I whatever? And so I usually figure this out on the weekend, and I go grocery shopping either Saturday or Sunday in preparation for that coming week. I figure out what drinks I need. I figure out, Diet Mountain Dew. It's my best friend. Caffeine Lindsay is happy Lindsay. I will tackle that at some point in my life, I am sure. I think full-time nanny, part-time grad student is just not a wise time to tackle that. I'm just going to argue that there. That it's not the time. For everything, a time and a place. It's not the time. And so I figure out all the things that I need, and I go grocery shopping all at one time. That way I only have to go once. I'm not running to the store like every day. And I have all the things necessary to go into my week. I realize that that's somewhat based on my personality type, because I am somewhat type A. A lot type A most of the time. And so not everyone's a planner like that. You do you, boo. You do you. But that works for me. I'm just saying, finding these things in your life. If you want to go 2 times a week, 3 times a week, if you like going to the grocery store, figure out more times to go to the grocery store. I do not. I do like Target, but no, I'm not about it. So I figure out all of that, and I do it kind of all at one time. I get that stuff kind of prepared, and I think through my week, like this time I'm doing these things, productive things. That's the other thing. For me, it's lists. So I have a list right now in my phone. It's an ongoing list, and it's a flexible list. So tomorrow I'm supposed to go to the grocery store. That's something that has to happen. It's on the top of the list. I also am thinking about scrubbing the tub tomorrow. I can already tell you from the way I'm feeling at the moment, unless I wake up tomorrow in a real productive mood, that that's probably not happening. But it's on the list, and it might happen to remind me that this is something that needs to be done, and maybe it'll be done tomorrow. I don't know. But it's lower on the list, that's for sure. And just different stuff like that that's on my list. I have on my list that I'm going to the gym on Monday. I just joined a gym this weekend. I figure let's speed up this weight loss process and be fit and healthy. I am not a fitness fanatic, obviously. I just joined a gym this weekend. I haven't gone yet. I'm sure I will tell you about that on here at some point. But it's on the list. And so I have these things. And I also put spending time with people on the list because I value that. I also... One of my New Year's resolutions was to talk to friends more. Sorry, friends. Spoiler if you're watching this. That was a resolution. Yes, you have noticed an influx in text messages and calls from me. I'm a very here and now type of person. And so whoever is here in front of me is a lot of the time the person I'm focusing on. Which if you were the person in front of me could quite possibly make you feel like you have hung the moon and you are my only priority. And that's great for you, right? If you are not the person in front of me, it's not so great for you. There may have been times that I made you feel unloved and unwanted, and I'm really sorry if that's ever happened. But I'm also emotional, ENFJ feeling, guys. But I want to be better at that. I want to be a better friend. I want to be the friend that I want to have. And so, I have an alarm that goes off in my phone. Mondays is one person, Tuesdays is a different person, Wednesdays is a different person. And when the alarm goes off, I go, oh, I need to text so-and-so. Now it's become habit where I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, I need to text so-and-so. And I even found myself in the last couple of weeks, and we're only in February, where something exciting has happened or I needed an opinion on something, and I went to one of them first. Now, these are like what I would call my future bridesmaids. I'm single, so like people that would be in my bridal party, my ride or dies, are people I'm still really bad at texting, because none of them live right near me, so I don't get to see them a whole lot. So it's really just texting and calling that we have. And so it was exciting that I was like, I should text so-and-so. This is who I should tell. And to talk to them throughout the day, it's great. It really is changing a little bit of how I think. They were not present in front of me, and yet that is the first person. Now, when big life events happen, those are my people. Those are the people that I'm like, got a tattoo. Let's tell all the peeps. This happened recently. Or got into grad school, or lost my job, or whatever. Those are my people. Those are my 2 a.m.ers that I can call anytime, and know that they're there for me. Those are the people who celebrate the high highs and the low lows. So that's always awesome. But just trying to build in some of these things into my life. I have a budget. If you want to know more about my budget, I would be happy to share my budget with you in a separate video. This video is getting too long as it is. So, but I have a budget, and I know that makes some people go, what? But I have a budget journal that I keep track of everything that I buy, and everything, like all of my bills and stuff, are on one part, and then my like miscellaneous spending is what I keep in this budget journal. And I keep track of exactly how much money I have at all times. That lessens stress for me. It also helps me make better decisions about what I can and can't afford to buy, really, right? And not a shocker. So if I look at that and I'm like, wow, I really want this thing that's like $50 in the next couple of weeks. It may not be wise to buy this week, but if I don't buy anything big in the next couple of weeks, then okay, great. I'm at a point where I will buy that. And so that keeps me from roaming the Target dollar spot. Well, I'll tell you, that Target dollar spot will get you every time. And so $1 to $3 adds up, especially when you put 10 of them on your cart really fast. And so that ends up being half of that $50 makeup product or organizer or whatever that I was wanting to buy. If I do that a couple weeks in a row, right? And so I know that sounds crazy, but it just adds up. And so it makes me conscious of those things. I have savings, and then I have a buffer. And anyways, I can go more into all of that if that's something that anyone wants to hear about. But budget, it helps to keep track of those things that I don't really want to pay a whole lot of attention to, so that I can pay more attention to the people around me and the people in my life. And it kind of runs itself. I mean, I have to add and subtract stuff, but I typically do it, honestly, on a weekly basis now, because I'm in such a habit. I kind of just know, and I'm kind of keeping a tally in my head, and I do it like on a weekly, just to make sure that I'm staying on track. But things like that are just things that have been kind of game changers in my life, and just thinking through how to add more of those things, and how to lessen some stress as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any more of them that I can think of off the top of my head. Alarms in my phone are a big one, because I'm a hearing down person, and so it reminds me of the things that I need to do. I try to space out the things I need to do throughout my week, but that's my personality. Some people want it all in one day. Good for you. You'll do you, boo. I get to that point, and then I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to do any of this, and then none of it gets done. And so, for me, this is what helps me get through all of that. Yeah, I feel like I didn't really share anything, honestly, but this really is just an introduction, and a little bit of self-care, things to make your life a little bit easier, so that you can really do what you value, and add more of that into your life. And if you've not figured out what it is that you really value, what it is that really makes you tick, I cannot suggest more the Enneagram. Honestly, I love Myers-Briggs. That is great too. Do that. But Enneagram is really more about what makes you tick and why you do what you do versus what you do. I feel like Myers-Briggs is what you do, personality, versus Enneagram is why. That desire, that motivation behind it. And let me tell you, there are some Enneagram things that sound really, really harsh. I hear you. I am with you in that. I am not someone who likes harsh at all. My type is the most sensitive type on the Enneagram. We do not take criticism very well, mainly because it just crushes our soul. Not because we are prideful, but it's mainly because our goal, we just can't handle it. I don't even know. I'm not far enough in to really tell you that necessarily. But I think it is one of the greatest communication tools that I have stumbled upon. Empathy tools to empathize for other people. Knowing thyself tools. Self-awareness. Not just knowing what you do, which is fun, but knowing why. And be able to catch yourself in it sometimes. For the good and the bad, right? There's good in that and there's bad in that. It is not bad that I love to love others, or that I want deep, meaningful relationships. It is bad when I manipulate to do those things, or when I'm loving someone just to get love in return, which is a very two thing. My motivation there in loving people can get skewed. And so that is something that I've been able to kind of watch more because of Enneagram. And it's introduced me to kind of a whole new world of that. Anyways, this is not an ad for Enneagram, but do it. Just do it. If you want to know more about resources for Enneagram, I don't know them all. My roommate knows a little bit more than me, so I can ask her. And I can post them down in the comments below if you want to. I'll probably do another video just on Enneagram because obviously I'm like, Enneagram! But probably after I read the whole book, honestly, because I'm still in the midst of reading a couple of different books on it, and listening to a bunch of podcasts and that kind of stuff, and yeah. But I hope that this was not just a bunch of rambling, or if it was, that it was entertaining to you. I live to please, obviously. So yeah, I hope that you have a great, it's nighttime here, so I'm going to say night, sweet dreams, and if it's morning to you, a good morning, a good day, right? And I will see you again soon.